is a MARii podcast.
Hello there. Welcome to MARii Mobility World. We are part of the Plugin with MARii podcast network. I'm Azaria Tagaya, your host for this podcast session. And as always, thank you so much for tuning in, where we discuss the latest technological developments and the latest trends regarding Malaysia's industries. And today we have a very interesting topic about the employability or the marketability of graduates or people searching for jobs. And to talk about that, and to shed some light on our topic today, we have with us the Chief Executive Officer of GRADUAN, Nabil Marie. Hi, Nabil. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. I'm very happy that you invited me. I'm very honored to be here today.
Well, it's our honor to have you and speak about the topic of employability, because nowadays, especially after the pandemic, I know a lot of people are searching for jobs and they want to be more marketable and show their skills to employers. But before we talk more about that, to get the ball rolling, can you give us some insight, some background on what GRADUAN actually is and how you help people search for jobs?
Okay, maybe a bit of a backstory. GRADUAN has been around for the past 27 years. I think coming to 28 years already.
Mm-hmm.
So at that time, maybe this was like in the mid-90s, many graduates are, same like now, are looking for jobs. But most of the jobs now that they offer then were more for experienced hires.
Yeah.
So, this company was started by my parents. So what they did is they visited most of the companies in KL and around Malaysia to know which of these companies are hiring fresh graduates. And from there, they do a compile into a magazine and into a profiles of all these companies are the ones hiring fresh graduates. But not only that, the employers themselves say, interview us, we want to speak to the graduates. What we are actually looking for in a graduate, it's not just academic results, but more than that. So that's how it started. It's from a magazine.
Okay.
And it's distributed to all the universities in Malaysia and the universities that has many Malaysians overseas.
Yeah, in schools as well, because I remember reading it in Form 4 and Form 5.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, and going through it. And it's interesting, the book, because the magazine, because it doesn't just showcase like the popular companies like oil and gas companies and medical companies, but they also have profiles of like singers and TV hosts and how you can be a reporter. So I remember getting a little bit of inspiration from reading that. So can you tell us how you moved from the magazine to what GRADUAN is today?
I came in after that. So when I came in, I asked, after graduating and all that, when I came in, I noticed that every year is more or less the similar companies that's coming. So I thought, things need to change.
Yeah.
And things need to go online. If not, there's not much difference from one year to the other year, because it's all mostly the same people talking about the similar things, right?
Yeah, and you have to move with the times. Go digital.
Yeah, but we did it slowly, one by slowly, until now. I think we stopped doing the magazines already. Everything is online already.
Okay, so how do you access GRADUAN now? Is it a web portal? Is it an app? How can people access GRADUAN?
Most people access GRADUAN on our website, graduan.com. But we also have our own app. So in the app, that it's more now than last time, because now you can apply for jobs, you can watch videos, we produce videos, and even do our own podcasts here and there.
I see. So you can access the GRADUAN podcast on the GRADUAN app.
Well, not yet, but soon.
So there are plans to go there.
Yeah.
So how can the website is more popular than the app at the moment?
At the moment, I would about 50-50, but I think slightly more on the website, yeah.
I see. So you see more users going to the website. How can they use the website, graduates, to search for potential employers?
Because in the website, there's profiles of most of the bigger companies that has the profile there, and they will be posting jobs. So every time we have our events, we do 3 events a year. One in UK for the Malaysian students studying in the UK, another one in KL, that's called GRADUAN Aspire, and another one for Australia. But since it's virtual now, it doesn't matter whether you're in UK or in KL, you can still log in. So during these times, that's when companies post jobs. that they're hiring fresh graduates. So if you go to the website or go to the app, you create a GRADUAN account, and from there you can just start applying for the jobs
I
immediately.
see. What type of employers are available on there? Are you open to all companies who want to join your platform, or do you vet some of them? What happens to the companies that wants to join GRADUAN?
Actually, we open up to everyone, but more likely than that, but you always see like the bigger companies in Malaysia, the MNCs and the GLCs are there. I do want more startups, more SMEs to come in, but slowly I think once they can start out putting up jobs before they start doing videos and all that. But I do vet some companies. We not too keen on recruitment agencies.
Yeah.
We're not too keen on insurance agents. The agents, not the insurance company.
Yeah. Because we want to protect the graduates as well who are looking for jobs.
I want them to start a career, not go sideways or something like that.
Yeah, understood. Okay, so that's about the employers. What about the graduates themselves? Now, when you say the name GRADUAN, there's this perspective that is just for fresh graduates, only for people who are first-time job seekers. Is that true? How is your user database look like?
Actually, that's a big misconception about GRADUAN. When we started GRADUAN, as a magazine or a book, and because it's thick, it's like a book. The idea of it, and if you have your own magazine bag, at the back of the magazine, we always have a Malaysian company, whether it's Maybank or MAS, is at the back cover, because these books go out overseas, and the name GRADUAN is to say that this is a Malaysian product. And when the books go out overseas, whether you're in UK or Australia, if you hold that magazine, people will see Maybank or people will see, they know it's a Malaysian product. So that's why we chose the name GRADUAN. Not because it's a Malay name or anything, it's because it's Malaysian.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so
coming back, I didn't really answer your question. But because of the name GRADUAN, that's how we chose the name. But it's meant for everybody because the HR is still the same, whether you're a fresh graduate or you're senior level. You're still meeting the same HR.
So it's a misconception then. It's not just for first-time job seekers as some people would think.
No.
Well, I'm actually quite guilty of that because I used to read the book, as I told you, but now I don't find myself going to the website as much. But if someone who is probably my age, looking a second or third time job seeker looking to switch jobs, is GRADUAN also a good platform for them to do that?
Definitely. I mean, the companies are there. The jobs is not just for fresh graduate jobs. There's some jobs more for senior. And sometimes we do get-togethers with, we call it Aspire Plus, a webinar. Last time we sit down in a hall or in a co-working space. Then we have talks and discussion with companies and senior people, like young professionals. And that's where they find jobs among each other.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, there's the issue of people looking for jobs, and there's also this topic of employability, which often crops up. I think at least once or twice a year, you have these news articles about the number of unemployed persons going higher, and there are more unemployed graduates. Why do you think that is?
Because of the situation now, we're in robotics, MARii and everything, and the whole industry, the whole of Malaysia, everyone's turning into more automation.
Yeah.
And sometimes certain jobs, we don't need so many people. We want people that actually do more of the thinking, more of the planning. That would lead to more, they hire less people because, again, everyone's running a business, bigger headcount, more money there, and everyone wants to make a profit. That's one reason, but also because it's a very good opportunity that as a graduate, you can take this chance to learn more skills. So that makes you more valuable into the marketplace.
Okay. Now back to how GRADUAN actually helps. Does GRADUAN actually help the graduate throughout the job seeker rather, throughout the whole process? What about after they seek employment with the company through GRADUAN? What happens then? Is there any post assistance?
Well, because GRADUAN, we're not a headhunter. I've seen even from the websites I see from the back end I can see some graduates they just apply 10, 20 jobs, hoping someone calls them.
Yeah.
So, but that's not what we intend to do, because what we do is like we give information about the companies, so the graduates will read about the companies or watch a video about companies, and to know what job you're actually applying for, then you apply for the job. But so our goal is not really we don't earn from the headhunting or the job posting, but so we give you the information, but now the rest is up to the student or the graduate, a young professional, to apply and get the job themselves. I'm giving you the bridge, the opportunity, the platform. Why, if you get the job, it's not because of us. We just provide that opportunity. You got the job because it's your own work and because of the company wants you. So, but whenever the posting, they will come back and say, if you do an event, this would be better. And if you invite more certain companies from certain industry, that's what we do. But we have nothing to do with the hiring process.
I see. What about assisting in terms of giving you tips for how to write your resume tips for job interviews? Can you access that as well?
Definitely. That's in our magazine. That's the staple articles in our magazine. And that's the most number of views in our articles is those how to write a resume, how to prepare for a job interview. But nowadays, the articles are more like, how do you prepare, instead of a resume, how do you prepare for a video resume?
Yeah,
how
exactly.
do you prepare for a video interview?
Yeah, because now even for the conventional jobs, you have to sort of do like a video audition and like present yourself, even though it's not for a job in media or anything like that, but you have to do things like that. So what would be your tip for someone who is applying for a job in this day and age? Maybe they have to do a video presentation. Maybe they have to do their interview with the employer online through video call. What would be your tip to sort of prepare yourself for this type of interview?
When I do the career fairs, and okay, this is just an example. I did in Australia, and I saw one boy, he go for every single job interview for every single company. But I said, but you already have a job waiting back home. Yeah, I'm practicing. So if I were to, so he gets better and better every single interview. So sometimes what I can tip for the graduates is to improve yourself, or you're going for a video interview, and is to do more video interviews. I mean, do a mock-up with your friends or your aunties and uncles to just interview you in that manner, and maybe ask them to be hard on you, because these are the things that you don't know how the interview is going to go. Sometimes the interviewer want to see what you're made of, and sometimes they just make it difficult with you. So you have to test yourself there.
I see. Well, on the Plug-in with MARii podcast session, we normally talk about technological advancements and how companies are moving online, moving to the digital, because going digital is going forward, so to speak. So how is GRADUAN actually embracing the digital aspect of the new norm these days?
Well, earlier I said that we started out with a magazine. That was like 1994, 1995 was the first one.
Yeah.
And throughout the time, and there's a certain stage, right, I have other colleagues telling me, we're in the sunset industry. Because it's print magazine and everything.
At that time.
Yeah. I mean, maybe coming to 2000 or early 2000, they're already saying we're in the sunset industry. Then I still start to them that, no, actually we're not. People still do read, but they read in different platforms. In fact, people read more now, but shorter forms.
Yes.
So even our articles need to change. Instead of like why work in the banking industry, and then you do a long topic on banking and say 5 reasons to work in the banks. Those kind of things.
Straight to the point.
Yeah. So how we are embracing is that we move from everything that's print into online, and from the print and interviews that is done in the magazine, we move it to a video about the company. At least it brings people to see, the office is like this. Wow, they have a coffee machine, they have a nice pantry. These are the things that sells graduates, the nice office. And not just for that, we do our podcast, everything that has got to do with bringing things that you read alive.
Yeah. Tell us more about the podcast. You mentioned before we started the show that you recently started with the podcast, but why did you decide to go in that avenue, and what topics do you talk about on the GRADUAN podcast?
We did the podcast because I joined a lot of interviews in the magazine. I joined a lot of interviews with CEOs, with HR directors, and a lot of senior people. And sometimes I just sit inside and I don't ask questions. I just listen. I say, this is so interesting. There's so much I can learn. I wish I can get graduates to sit here and listen into the conversations that the CEOs are talking, because there's a lot of wisdom that they can learn. Then I was thinking like, okay, then Joe Rogan started being very popular in his podcast, and nowadays everybody has a podcast. So like, we should do something also. So we started our podcast, the first 5 episodes. In fact, today we just had an interview with Media Premier Audio.
No.
And then like, I even asked him, this conversation we did through Zoom. I'm like, this conversation is so beneficial. I mean, I learned a lot from how you went through your career and where you are now. He said, can I record this? I mean, we're recording already. Can I put it on the podcast? He said, sure. Just let me hear if there's anything I want to edit. But yeah, so I mean, that's how it started, because I thought it's something that is good for the graduates to learn.
Okay.
So why not record the whole thing and put it up?
I see. So I guess if we want to get more of an idea of what the podcast is, we have to tune in then and check it out.
Yeah. Again, the podcast is not just about careers. It could be anything to do as your life as a graduate. Maybe it could be finance, personal finances.
Oh, I see.
It could be health and fitness, managing stress, work-life balance, mental health, or anything.
I see. Okay. All right. We're nearing the end actually of the interview. But before we wrap up the session, I just need to ask you about, after the pandemic, a lot of people have lost their jobs. And so there's more pressure then on fresh graduates. They might be thinking, people who are already working are losing their jobs. What about me? I'm a fresh graduate. I don't have any experience. I have skills, but the employers don't know that yet. So what would be your tip to these people who are searching for jobs in this day and age, in this time, 2022?
This is actually a very interesting time because of the pandemic. But everything is readily available. There's YouTube, there's social media, there's everything. I would say, while you are searching for a job, do something. Whether you could have a side business, whether you do be a Grab driver or delivery or anything, because all of these experiences will lead you somewhere, and all these things would bring benefit to you, because you learn how to do business, you learn how to manage people, you meet a lot of people by doing all this work. I know someone who was a waiter. From the waiter, and because he treats people, he is a waiter to a lot of in a dinner place, he meets a lot of people.
Yeah.
And one day when the pandemic happened, his old place closed down. And then suddenly, because he meets a lot of people, one of the people that he meets, that he got close to, because he is a regular, say, I'm going to open a restaurant. I want you to run it for me. I will invest in your restaurant. So then he starts, so you never know what who you meet and what would happen. So while you are waiting for the job and going around looking for a job, do something, because you never know how things would turn out. Rather than staying at home and watching Netflix, nothing's going to happen there.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving forward, what are your future plans for GRADUAN, perhaps in the short term, the next year or so? Do you have any plans to collaborate with other companies, perhaps MARii, and go forward in technology and such?
Yeah, of course. I mean, this robotics and AI is so big now. We worked with this organization called CADS to promote data analytics and AI, and you see so many graduates are coming and apply. How do I apply for the courses here? So I know that there is a demand from all these graduates wanting to pick up skills in this area of technology. So if there's anything I want to work with MARii, it could be promoting jobs or promoting this industry to the graduates. Yeah, I think that is going to work be something really good in the future.
I see. What about on GRADUAN's side for this year? Because this year everything is opening up again, so we're able to have like seminars and job fairs and stuff like that. So do you have anything planned
Of
in
course,
that aspect?
I mean, this March we're doing a fair for the UK students.
I see.
We wanted to go to UK, but then maybe not so. Yeah,
Not so advisable
not
now.
Not so soon now. But we are doing a big fair in online, and because we have the platform to do virtual fairs, so we're doing all the fairs virtually. But we're doing more in between them. We're doing many more webinars and get together with employers. And at the end, at the end of the year, we'll do a big dinner with all the employers.
Wow, I see. Oh, very well then. Thank you so much, Nabil, for sharing with us
Thank
today.
you for inviting me.
Thank you. And thank you to you as well for tuning in to the podcast. As always, we'll be talking about more topics like this in the next episode of MARii Mobility World. So make sure you catch our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and many other platforms where you can catch podcasts. Till the next episode, I'm Azaria Tagaya. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.
This is a MARii podcast.